Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another fascinating episode of Dion's Daily Dose. Your time is valuable, so I'm not going to waste it. Liz Bergeron's a member of the Triple D team. She does a lot of my behind-the-scenes research. She's also the most amazing wife in the world, but I'm a little bit biased on that. A great mother, and she's running for a couple of different positions. I'll let her get into it. Without further ado, Liz Bergeron.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. I am good today.
Good.
Behind the scenes stuff, you guys check out my Facebook page, you'll learn why. But so you're decided to run for office again.
Well, yeah, I did. I run for delegate every chance I get.
Yeah.
So far, I've won every time because I think that's a super important position. So is precinct person.
Right.
But I was kind of asked to run, or hey, we have some people that were planning to retire that I guess are running again. Have you thought about it? I said, I haven't thought about running for anything. I wasn't planning on it. And then it just kind of happened. So here I am.
And this is for?
Center Township Advisory Board, not trustee. So
not trustee. Okay.
I'm not taking on Lisa. It is still Lisa.
So you go ahead. You work with the trustee though, right? But you don't work in the office. It's different.
Right? I can work with the trustee if there's help that one of my clients or one of the people I work with will need. We have in the past. I actually worked with another county's trustee to help get funeral expenses paid for someone I had that passed away. I consider myself good acquaintances with Lisa, the trustee. So I've made donations. I've helped out as much as I can. And I want to run for advisory board to just keep helping, just in a different way.
Okay. So basically the advisory board, do they oversee the trustee, or are they more like a budgetary thing? Or
so the trustee is the executive of the township, and what she will do is make a budget for all of the things that the trustee does and helps with. And
okay.
She will give it to the advisory board, and she will say, here's the budget. And we're going to look over the budget and sort of give input and either approve the budget or say it needs to be changed and work together to make the budget work for the township. But she creates it. She's in charge of it. We're just think of checks and balances and there to help if she needs us. So we're like her right-hand man, I guess you would call it.
Fair enough. Okay. So you have a long title, what you do for a job. It's a very long kind of description. And I've been asked by a number of people, what does your wife do exactly? And I go, okay, so here's the thing. I'm not going to try to explain it, even though I'm more familiar with it than a layman. I'm going to let you tell people what you do for a living.
Okay. So I'll give you the full title and then I'll break it down.
Okay.
I am an Indiana Medicaid waiver case manager dealing with HCBS and IDDD waivers of FSW and CIH. We talk in acronyms. That will make sense to any case manager that happens to watch this. They'll be like, oh, exactly. I know exactly what she does. So basically, we all know what Medicaid is. Okay. So if you are an individual, and there are about 9 different types of waivers in the state of Indiana. I work with 2 of them. I work with not the medical waivers, the pathways to aging, the aging and disabled, the TBI. I work with the developmental track of waivers, which is family supports and community rehabilitation. So you have Medicaid, that's your insurance. When you have a disability, you can apply for and qualify for something called the Medicaid waiver. Just think of like your homeowner's insurance and you have something super valuable, you get a waiver, you get additional coverage to cover that, which your homeowner's insurance might not cover.
Okay, like a rider policy.
Right. The waiver is going to cover what Medicaid might not. So for my people that I work with, it's going to cover having a staff person come in to work with you, or if you're a parent, give you a break so you can go take a nap or go grocery shopping or whatever. It's going to cover recreation therapy, music therapy, and what we call behavior management. It needs a new title. It covers those services are not available through Medicaid, but they are through the waiver. So it's just extra services and extra coverage to help with a developmental disability so you can lead a life that's fulfilling and has meaning and is in the community and is independent and successful as possible. So that's what I do.
Okay. So you're the kind of the overseer of where stuff goes, or you like track stuff?
Sort of. Think of it like administrative social work. When I have a person on my caseload, a family, an individual that I work with, they're going to automatically get a case manager. If they want other things, let's say they want music therapy for their kiddo, and their kiddo gets music therapy. I'm the one that's kind of being the liaison between them and the music therapist and making sure that services are happening and services are going well and everyone's getting along and growing and achieving and succeeding.
Okay. So we've heard a lot. Well, first, your educational background, obviously you have a degree, you got a bachelor's, but you're currently getting your master's, and it's in a very particular focus, right?
It's a psychology master's. And within psychology, there is a practice called applied behavior analysis. We do it to ourselves every day without even thinking about it. Think about a time where you were in school and you had to study for a test. So you would say, I'm going to study for an hour, and then I'm going to take a break. And then I'm going to do another hour, and I'm going to take a break. That is in the realm of motivation and a whole bunch of other terms I don't want to throw out, but that's part of it too.
Okay.
So, and with an applied behavior analysis, I am getting 2 specializations, concentrations, autism spectrum disorder and organizational behavior management. Autism spectrum disorder is about autism, and it's what you would mostly see happening in ABA centers. And then organizational behavior management is to help employers understand the needs of their employees, to keep them motivated. How can we boost productivity? How can we retain employment? That is where they would call in organizational behavior management professional.
Okay. So to pivot just a little bit, because there's a lot of terms that, that get tossed out, and we're hearing a lot of background noise and a lot of legitimate concern about, I guess, the ability of, like, look at Wisconsin, for example, right? The home health care industry, all these industries up there are rife with fraud because there's no oversight. My question to you is, your job is basically the oversight to make sure that we don't see that as any system. Someone can fraud if they try hard enough, but in general, you keep the fraudsters at bay because you're actually tracking that this stuff's getting done, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. There's even more of that starting to be required of us, obviously, where I'm constantly checking on, oh, hey, you wanted 10 hours last month. Did you use them all? How's it going? I can't speak for other states. Yeah. I can't speak for even, unfortunately, I think the news broke today that they found some fraud in attendant caregiving. That is in the more medical track. So it's like, I'm familiar with it. I know enough about it to understand it, but I don't work within it. I work with, regardless of the company they're at, amazing people who care so much and are not doing this to get rich, because we aren't.
Right.
And we take potential fraud, abuse, neglect, exploitation so seriously. And I don't play when it comes to the people on my caseload. I don't play. if I have someone even remotely hint around that they're not sure that their services are being used properly, we're in it. We are pulling records, and I'm asking for reviews. And there's so many other case managers out there like me that will do the same thing.
Right.
So my company doesn't play, and so many others do. So you're going to have fraud in everything you do that a human being is in, because we're flawed, and that's just, there's some really cruddy people out there.
Right.
But my number one, if there's anyone watching who receives any type of services and you think that something could be happening, don't be afraid to get a hold of your caseworker or your case manager and say, hey, I have some concerns. Because that's what I'm here for. That's what they're here for. And we're doing everything we can because we love what we do.
Okay. So you're running for delegate too. Delegate, for those who are maybe not aware, for example, the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, the secretary of state, and something else are all the auditor and
comptroller, what used to treasurer. It's not auditor anymore. It's comptroller, secretary of state. Those are this convention.
Yeah.
And then
they're decided via convention at the party level.
Right. The one we just had. So then that means the next convention that will be attorney general and lieutenant governor. Okay. But we're in the 3-person secretary of state, treasurer, and comptroller.
Okay. All right. So you're running for that, and you've anyone who's paid attention understands that you take the role very, very seriously. You've become a lot more involved politically in the last several years. After
it's all your fault.
I know. It really is.
It really is.
I know. We neither of us had much to do politically until the whole 2020 Congress thing, and I'm like, I haven't heard of anyone running. I'm going to run. Oh my God. And then it just kind of went from there. And next thing you know, you are the party secretary, the club secretary, you're a member of the women's group. You're very, very active, very vocal. You don't hold back generally of your opinions. Although I will admit, you've become a lot more so I won't call it censored, but you've held back and been a lot more diplomatic since becoming secretary.
Yes. I don't ever want my voice to get lost in the noise. I don't ever want to influence anyone. I want people to be educated and to vote for who they believe is the best person. In your primary, think of it as your playoffs. You want to get the best person for your party. I'm not whatever party that is, to the finals, and that's the general election. So you need to know who's playing, what teams, what candidates, what is important to you, what matches. Also, look at it's an employment, it's a job review. They might be good these last 2 years, but maybe they were horrible the 15 years before, and now they're like, oh, it's election time, so now I'm going to be good. Take everything into consideration. Figure out who best represents you, and vote for them.
Right.
So I try not to sway or get lost in the noise or criticize on things that don't need to be criticized about, and just get information out to people to see, so they know, so they have a good idea of what they're doing and everybody should vote when they go into either the mobile voting van or early voting or election day. You know exactly who you should be voting for because of what's important to you.
That's where voter education is, in my opinion, critically important. It is okay to leave it blank if you don't know who any of these people are in a particular race. Don't feel like you have to. I'm not telling you. I'm telling the audience, don't feel like you have to pick a box, because you don't. Even on the ones that, select up to X amount, you don't have to pick them all. If you don't know someone, there's no reason to vote for them simply because you've heard the name.
And in a local race, I'm not going to touch federal because that's numbers and math. That is above me.
Right.
But when you're looking at the races that we have going on right now, so we're
Mhm.
looking at judge and prosecutor, every vote really does matter. You can lose a race by 1 or 2 votes. You
Yes.
can win a race by 1 or 2 votes. 50% plus 1. They tell you that all the time. You got to get 50% of the vote plus 1 vote. 1 vote. And then you're going to the general to be the next coroner, the next sheriff, the whatever. So if you want to say that your vote doesn't matter for president, that's not this election. This election is the politics that you are going to feel every single day. I know, a year from now we're going to have mayor and municipal, but on the county level, the races that are running for county council, that's your money. Who's going to do the budget when the cuts come? Your commissioner. There's a commissioner running. Who's going to be sitting at that executive branch of the county? You have judges. Who is going to be behind the bench in these super packed and super overfilled courts? Sheriff, he doesn't have a opponent. Trustee, there are some trustee races. Who's going to be the best trustee? Who's going to be the best advisory board member?
Right.
It can come down to 1 vote. So if you believe your vote doesn't matter, don't, and come and vote.
Yes, especially in the primary, it is so critical. People talk all the time about, well, I really wish that we had some new blood, and we need, and not everybody, but some people strongly believe that all incumbents should be voted out. In my opinion, there are some that are doing a good job, but if you're of that ilk, if you are of the belief that basically, if you've already served in government, it's time to recycle, and you don't vote in the primary, then you're just creating noise. You're just talking, especially in certain areas. The primary is the deciding election. But move that aside for a moment. Okay, so what gave you the passion for the job that you're in now, and the drive to want to seek a master's degree? Is a lot of work.
I had 2 classes. So my program is 10 weeks on, 3 weeks off, or 4 weeks, depending on how it flows.
Yeah.
I'm only doing 1 class this time, but so I have 2 coming up in 8 weeks. So
oh boy,
I did
that
2
again.
And anyone who earns a master's works very hard, because it is hard. I'm in week 2. I'm towards the end of this is the easy time.
Right. Of your current class set. You're not in week 2 of your master's.
No,
program.
I won't be done until summer, fall of next year.
Yeah.
So it's hard. Getting a bachelor's is hard too. And it's also what you put in it. So I got my bachelor's from University of Phoenix, and there's a lot of drama around that school where people don't think that it is a real school. And I say, you get out of it what you put into it. Mm-hmm. You could go to Purdue, get all C's, because there's a saying, C's get degrees, party every day, never really pay attention, do barely enough to get C's across the board, and graduate with a degree in accounting and get a CPA, and not really know what you're doing, or biology or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you can go to class, you can get the office hours, you can throw your all into it. Who cares what grades you get your degree, and you've gotten more out of that experience than the person who just showed up, did a test, barely put anything to it. I put my all into my bachelor's degree.
I watched you do it. You really, really, really did. It was a lot.
It was a lot. And I did it remotely because I was working. We had kids, and we were coming out of 2008 where everyone had lost their job, and now people are finally claiming their jobs back. And I had a job where it took me so long to get it after I had lost my last one that I did not want to anger them by asking for any schedule changes. Right. So I'm like, I have to work because the recession of 2008 hurt everybody. It hurt us.
Yeah.
So I had to work as many hours as I could to build up the bank account because the savings got drained because there was no job, and unemployment you don't make a lot on. No. So I could not, in my own conscience, cut my work hours or be gone from home even more. Right. So I chose to go online, to go remotely. And for some people, it works and works great. You have to be self-motivated, self-driven, good time management, and want it. And some people, it doesn't. It worked for me. And our boys were 6, 7, 4, 5, something like that. And they just got used to seeing mom behind the computer, mom behind the laptop, mom's going to school. That they learned, at least I hope they learned, the oldest kind of hinted at it, that they learned that you can work and do what you want to do, and you can balance everything in your life. You just got to figure out a way to do it. Yeah. So I earned my bachelor's, and I wanted to be the one that when families came to nursing homes to admit their loved one, it is a extremely complicated and messy and overwhelming process. I saw it with my grandparents, what my aunt and my dad had to do. And I said, I want to do that, to be the point of contact. Then I got my degree, and all the nurses left the field, and they all came into what I wanted to do. And nurses get hired before me because they should, because they're nurses. So I decided to go work in Chicago in work comp insurance. And I did that for a year. And that was not every job is for everybody.
True.
And it was not the job for me. Yeah. So I learned a lot. And I came back, and I went from back in 2013 making $36,000 a year to becoming a para for the LaPorte Community School Corporation. We lived a few houses away from Lincoln. My kids went there. Our kids went there. And it was just a reset of the mind and the heart. Parents do not get enough. And they were looking at cutting my hours because the class sizes dropped. And I went, that's not going to work. So I actually got a job for a contractor for Apple out of South Bend. And did the really crazy Apple mapping with the weird vans that everyone thought we were stealing their identities and self-driving and all of that. And
there were so many conspiracy theories going around about what these vans were and what they were doing. And I'm like, they're just mapping, I promise.
It's just mapping. And I mapped California I was in California for 2 weeks. I went, what's the next city? Chicago. Yep. I gotta get out of California. I'm flying home every 2 weeks. And it's California, and I don't like it, and I don't want to be here anymore. So I went to Chicago, and even though I was only an hour away from home, but couldn't get home. So I said, okay, Chicago. So I was the navigator. So I would have an iPad, and we had a van driver, and I would look at the map, and I'd be like, turn right. And then we would drive down the street and collect all the data for it to improve the map interface, and probably video gaming and stuff like that. I went home. I was getting ready to come back to Chicago, and they said, do you want Detroit? I said, yes. We did Detroit, came home, got an extension. I did Cleveland. No, I'm sorry. I did Detroit, then I did Cleveland, then I came home. And I thought I was going to be home for the winter. Went back up to Detroit in the winter, which was fun. And then my company lost the contract, and I came home on January 1st and had no clue what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Then after about 6, 7, 8 weeks of applying for jobs, I got offered a job at Help at Home. Being a QIDP, it's a lot of acronyms in my
It is. Your field has so many acronyms.
We do. Qualified Intellectual Disability Professional. Basically, I oversaw the staff that worked with people that had the waiver. And that's the first stepping stone to usually either you're taking over the branch and moving up higher, or you go into case management.
Yeah.
I did that for 3 years, which in the real world is about 30. Became a case manager for an amazing company called Futures Case Management, based out of here in LaPorte. And it was owned by Florence Hobby, who does Night to Shine. And just, she was an amazing woman. She passed away 2 years ago. The state came in and makes changes, and they said everyone needs a contract. Futures didn't get it. So I went to where I am now doing the same thing. My people, all but like 4 of them, followed me to my new company. I became a regional supervisor, and that's what I am. I'm a regional supervisor and case manager, and that's what I do. And I do it because I have personal experience with working with people with disabilities as well as in my family. And I know how it feels to see someone feel like they're the only one in the world that's dealing with this through their child, or feel like you're the only one dealing with it because of your family member. And I just wanted to help people and be there for them when they don't feel like anyone gets it. When I come in and I go, no, I get it. And they're having a meltdown, or they're stimming, and the parent, the guardian feels like they have to apologize because they felt like they had to apologize the whole time for all of this. And I'm like, doesn't bother me, like, at all. I get it. I'm here. Let's get the ball moving so we can get them to their best life possible.
So a couple of questions. Number one, at least there seems to be on social media, but social media doesn't represent the real world. But it's easy to get, I guess, a false impression that Republicans in general don't care about special needs or the poor or whatever. Obviously, anytime the budget comes up, you have to figure out where money's going to go. That's kind of part of this whole thing. As someone who is obviously working very closely with people with special needs and an entire industry that is focused on that, can you shed some light on why you'd be a good pick for the role you're running for, and B, the I guess false belief that Republicans just don't care about those kind of people?
Okay. Well, being a case manager is going to help me be a good board member, because you have to be able to read a budget. Like, that's like number one. You have to be able to read a budget. County council's budgets are very, very, very big. This is a township budget, which is still big. Center Township population, hold on, I wrote this down, is around 25,000 people. And it is mostly the city of LaPorte, and there's a volunteer fire department.
Okay.
So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts, and that's essentially my life. There's a lot of moving parts. There's things happening at all times. You have to be able to understand a budget, anticipate a budget, read a budget. Okay. I can, because I do that at least once a month. I create new budgets every month. 1 month, right? How many you want to do? I create annual budgets with the knowledge of what was expected last time, what is needed now, and how do we make sure we can plan for the future to make sure there's enough hours for, you want a staff person, you want them to go to camp, you want them to go to day program. We have to figure out how to take a set amount of money and make it stretch and fit, just like you have to do with the budget.
Right.
To be able to anticipate needs, you have to be able to work together with other board members who might have different opinions than you. Mm-hmm. You have to have a thick skin, because the public will let you know if they are not happy, and you have to be able to take that in and listen to try to understand where they're coming from. And I can do that. My job gives me amazing work-life balance. I'm very, very thankful for that. Mm-hmm. So I have the time to devote to understanding budgets, understanding what the township trustee needs, potentially helping out more at their office, especially when it gets to be winter and it becomes a warming station. And all of my varied educational but lived experience and professional experience, I think, makes me the one where I can put on tons of different hats and manage tons of different things. And that innovative thinking and thinking outside of the box and anticipating needs that's what will make me a good board member. Along with, I respect and admire Lisa so much that I'm not ever going to try to outstage her, because she knows this township in and out, because she's been doing it so long and is so involved. As far as Republicans, the belief that they don't care, there are always going to be people, regardless of their party, that don't care, that say they do and they don't, because it's a campaigning photo op, or they think that that's what they're supposed to say, or they just think that that's what they're supposed to say so people don't think badly of them.
Right.
I will say that not every Republican, but a majority of Republicans that I know help the community in so many different ways. A lot of times it's behind the scenes, you can't see it, but there is no, at least in the county level, disconnect between people and me, because you're going to see them at the grocery store. Mm-hmm. The budget and budgetary needs are always going to be an issue, because everything keeps getting more expensive, and our population is growing, which means our population that I work with is growing. Mm-hmm. And I think that for me, I never talk politics at work. When I'm with a family, no point, no need to. I don't know what they are. They don't know what I am. That's it. We always, and part of being a Republican is being fiscally conservative and responsible. So we have to look at the state budget, which the two biggest parts of the state budget are education, followed by Medicaid, which is what funds all of this.
Right.
We can't fund education and we can't fund Medicaid if we allow crazy spending and fraud to just go on, because some hard decisions will have to be made, and I don't want to make them. So if we're losing $200 million in fraud, that's $200 million less that we have for our schools and for the Medicaid, whether you are just a person on Medicaid or you're on the waiver. So we have to find where it's going out and going out incorrectly and stop that, plug that hole and bring it back in. I think that you're Republican, so you look at the money and you don't care about people, it is 98% false with your 2% outliers.
Right.
But it's hard when you have a loved one that has a disability, whether it is an intellectual disability or a physical disability. It is hard. Life is going to be hard. Things are going to be more expensive because insurance sucks and medical costs are rising. And I can say that the industry I work in, we are doing our best to try to do what we can with what we have for our people. I do, whether it's a community resource, whether it's a trustee who has a food bank like Center Township. Mm-hmm. We do the best we can because we truly care about our people and we want them to have everything they can have and everything they can do and get. And we just have to figure out how to make it happen. We are just like moms. It's mostly females. Mom's going to try to make sure everything's taken care of. And that's what we do.
Yeah. Your industry is, when I say predominantly female, I mean like vastly predominantly female, right?
Yes. And I would say not just case managers, they call them direct service professionals, direct service providers, DSP. They are the workers. They are the ones in the day program. And there's such a shortage. So if you want a job that will be the most meaningful and impactful job, and you want a job that I want to make a difference, let me know. I'll let you know who's hiring. But men typically don't go into these fields. There's not a lot of male behaviorists. There are some, and those are the ones that are more in the psychology. Recreation therapists, there's some males. There's some males in the therapeutic. There's some male staff. We call them unicorns because they're so rare that everyone tries to snatch them up. But you just don't see a lot of men going into social services And that's where, the one argument about the wage gap is you can't compare women's wages versus men's wages because men tend to work the higher paying jobs and not social services. And this is social services. But I will say, if you want a job that is a career that is going to make a difference, my industry's hiring across the board.
Yeah, like always. So with the whole, I know that there are people who believe that Medicaid, Medicare, all that stuff should just be, well, Medicaid in particular, should just be abolished because these people need to figure it out themselves, or churches can take care of it, or this or that. Number one, what's your take on that? But more importantly, why is that unrealistic?
To just abolish, just for no proof, no reason. Yes, audits need to be done. We need audits in our own daily lives, in every government office, everything like that. But just to abolish Medicaid, Indiana really tries to get children on their Healthy Indiana plan. So the kids have coverage. The smaller the company that you work for, the more expensive your health insurance is because you don't have the buy-in. Right. So a company that has only 100 employees, their insurance is going to cost more than a company with 1,000, 2,000. So there's always that you can't afford your work insurance. You can't just then go on the marketplace because your job offers insurance. So you can't get on, from what I understand. I could be wrong. It might have changed. If anyone out there knows, leave a comment.
Right.
But you can't go and get on the marketplace because you had access to insurance and you denied it.
Right.
So what do you do if you have a baby and you can't afford insurance? You go to Medicaid. So you're saying that the person who's working and can't afford their work insurance should be punished because they're working and can't afford their work insurance.
Right.
That might have been a thing back in the day where, what do you mean you can't afford work insurance? Like I remember when I started working at the prison, the first year, everyone was up in arms because it used to be free and now they had to pay. And my first year for a family was $13 every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And I went, why are you guys complaining? Like, this is amazing. The next year was 26. The third year it was 52. And then it shot up because the whole high deductible health plans.
Yeah. Yeah. The high deductible healthcare plans just devastated everything. And that obviously was a turnabout from Obamacare. And that's, at least I'm just going to interject my opinion for a moment. That's kind of the reverse of no one should be on Medicaid. This is everybody should be on Medicaid. Well, not exactly. Everyone should pay for everyone being on Medicaid. And unfortunately, it's skyrocketed insurance costs. We're still feeling that today. We can talk about national issues, sure, but I'd like to focus on improving LaPorte County because I think we have an amazing potential here. And that's one of the reasons why you're running for what you are. And I came back to LaPorte. We were in Michigan City and we chose to come back to LaPorte. Some things happened and we had an opportunity to come back. I could work from anywhere. I could have gone back home to Lake County. I could have gone to Porter County. I could have gone to any of the neighboring counties, as long as I stayed within a certain mileage / time frame. I didn't have to come back to LaPorte. I didn't have to come back to LaPorte County, but we did. And we did because this is an amazing county and it's filled with amazing people. And that's what makes the county is the people. And we have problems. So does everyone else. Right. Just like everywhere else.
But there are people who care and want to fix things. I came back and my whole goal was to finish school, get my extra certifications, and then look at running, not school and running and all of this, which is why you don't see me on the ballot for anything else, why you won't see me on any municipal ballot, because it has to be the right position. Not every job is for everyone. You don't want me to be the auditor. I wouldn't want to be the auditor. We have people who are running that want to change things on the advisory board level, on the trustee level, on the delegate level, on the volunteer level. And it's really easy to get caught up in the nothing's ever going to change. Nobody cares. The 5 or 6 people you may see as the bad apples, that's all they're ever going to be. And they're going to always be in control. And that's all we're going to have. And you forget that there's a whole army of other apples that are trying alongside you to make things better.
Right.
And that's why I'm running, because Center Township has a lot of struggles it's facing. It's facing, a dwindling housing options. The housing market stinks, and affordable housing is at a premium for everyone, and everyone's rent is going up. And whether you can afford that increase or not, your rent's still going up. NIPSCO.
Oh my God, the NIPSCO.
So I don't care if, and we have a lot of people that are in charge right now that seem to forget that they weren't always in charge, or that maybe they always had the money and never thought of it.
Yeah.
But that money can go just like that with an illness, with a surgery, with what did the one guy say on Hoarders? Everyone is 2 or 3 bad decisions days away from pooping in a bucket.
Yeah.
You can come back to the baseline with everyone else real quick, just because life.
Well, remember the 2008, housing crisis, I forget when the huge stock market crash was. They had people that, all these McMansions. You remember all the McMansions that people were popping up with the .com, bubble burst, and then all of a sudden, all these huge, ugly houses were up on the market for sale, and all of a sudden, they were regular people again.
Right.
They didn't have millions of dollars, at least in digital value, and there are a lot of people in LaPorte County that are struggling. The median income is very low compared to some other areas.
Mm-hmm.
We have actually been there. We have been on assistance. We, pulled ourselves up by the bootstraps. No, we were fortunate. God blessed us, and we were able to come out of that.
Yeah.
But we remember that, like you said, everyone is a couple of bad decisions away from pooping in a bucket.
And even if you can afford your NIPSCO bill every month, no problem, you see the increase. You can't help but see it. Maybe it's not even a factor to you. And like I think Ed Soliday said, I pay my NIPSCO bill and it's high in the winter and low in the summer. I don't know, whatever he rambled about.
Yeah.
You still see the increase.
Mm-hmm.
You still see it going up, and you still read a bill that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. How the delivery charges vary each month, and why, you're getting a delivery charge of $20, but your next door neighbors is $150. You still see it. It's still there. Luckily for you, it's just a little, we can't go out to eat an extra time this month, or if we order pizza, we have to get a smaller one. But for some, it is coming down to feed the kids or keep the lights on. And then that's where the township can step in, because even if it's not you went to township for utility assistance, you have food insecurity, which can happen to anyone at any point.
Yep.
On whether it's a small scale or a big scale. And if you use all your money for NIPSCO, you got to feed yourself and your family. So luckily we have Center Township trustee. We have the Salvation Army that Michigan City and LaPorte combined. They ran a very, very successful food program in Michigan City. They were going to bring that to LaPorte. So luckily we have that and other great food pantries. We have resources that need to also be announced more and shared more. but everybody is going to feel, whether it's Senate Bill 1, your property taxes go up, your NIPSCO go up, your rent goes up. Our rent skyrocketed when we were renting.
Oh yeah.
Just because they felt like it. So it went from, it doubled.
Yeah.
We could afford it. It meant a lifestyle change, but we could afford that. Some people can't afford it, and rent is going up. And so they're looking at another place to move to, and they $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, $1,600, and they're bringing in $2,000 a month.
Right.
And the township, the trustee is there to help everyone. But if we get less and you have less, the demand is more. And you can only squeeze so much blood from a turnip before there's more blood. So understanding that, I think, makes me also a good board member, because I had my son at 21. I wasn't married. Surprise. I had a great family that supported me, but they couldn't pay all my bills. It wasn't their job to pay all my bills.
Yep.
And I thought for a while that NIPSCO only came in green bills that said pay now or shut off your power. And I went to the trustee for help. Unfortunately, we have some really not great trustees in LaPorte County. We have some really amazing trustees in LaPorte County. And hopefully this election will get out the bad ones and bring in some good ones.
Right.
But I want to make sure Center Township trustee and the trustee's office has the resources they need, because you don't know what tomorrow holds. And I want to be there for our senior citizens, for our people on the waiver who are like, I'm on SSI, which is $700-800 a month, and my NIPSCO bill shot up. I get $20-30 a month in food stamps. I'm hungry. I want to bring that knowledge, and I want to help. And I don't want to be the trustee, because that is Lisa, and she's doing an amazing job. So I want to help her be even more amazing.
Okay. When people look, well, first of all, in order to vote for you in particular, people are going to have to pull a Republican ballot.
They are, and they're going to have to live in Center Township. If they don't, they can vote for me for delegate. I am number 2 on the at-large. Chad Addy, he got me. I was number 1 until Chad Llama Daddy Addy took my number 1 spot. Anyway, they pull a Republican ballot. They live in LaPorte County. They're going to see at-large. You're going to pick up to 10. You don't have to pick all 10. You pick up to 10. Those people that win will then go to the convention to represent you. Right. Along with, you will get your county council district that you can choose 5. So that's 15 people that are going to go to Fort Wayne and represent you. And so you can call them, you can call me and be like, I want you to vote for Bob, whatever, because he's running and I think he's the best, and I'm going to listen to everyone, and I'm going to tell you everything I know about the candidates, because I'm going to educate myself. Right. And I'm going to represent at large the whole entire county. For township board, you have to live in Center Township, and you have to pull a Republican ballot. I know that is a controversial thing.
Yeah.
I can see both sides of it. Mm-hmm. I can see the benefits of closed primaries. Yeah. I can see the disadvantages. I understand. I didn't make the rules. I have to live in it just like everyone else.
Yeah.
Pull a Republican ballot. Vote for me if you believe I will do a good job and get me to the finals, aka the general. And that's when the fight comes out. That's when the fight comes out even more than it already is. Oh, yeah. But you have to pull a Republican ballot, and you can't just press straight ticket, because you will have to vote for delegate.
Yeah.
So that will be probably on the last page of the ballot, where you might pull straight ticket, and you can't even vote straight ticket, because you got to pick people. Yeah.
For the primary, but for the general, you can do vote straight county, right. But for your local races, generally it doesn't apply to that. Like your county council, your stuff like that, you're going to have to go down and do it individually in the general.
Yeah,
that's in the general.
You have to pull a ballot, Republican or Democrat. I know the Democrats this year have a pretty full ballot, and they also have precincts and convention, because both parties do their convention. So if you are wanting to cross over, like we had for, I don't know if it was 4 years ago, 2 years ago.
2, I think. Yeah.
If you can pull whatever ballot you want. Like, that's up to you. You can vote for whoever you want. Yeah. But
when you say, I'm going to cut you off just briefly, just what she's referring to is there are reports. I don't know how anyone verified these, but the strong rumors are that approximately 750 Democrats pulled Republican ballots in the last primary in order to ensure that less preferred Republican candidates won versus it was a very contentious primary, and that's why we need real Republicans to get your butt out to the voting booth, pull a Republican ballot, and vote for the people that you believe in. Otherwise, quit your whining.
And we have early voting almost every day, at least Monday through Friday, all the way up to the day before the election, where it stops at noon. And if you don't know where to vote, if you don't know what times, go on the county website, go on Facebook. Taylor in the clerk's office is doing a phenomenal job at promoting where everything's going to be, how many people voted at each location. Vote. Go, even if you only want to vote for one person. Let's say you only want to vote for me, right? Pull the ballot, find me hit, done. You can vote for whoever you want, however many people you want to vote for. But go vote. And my dad always taught me, I thought my dad for my whole life, I thought he was a Democrat, because stereotypically he fits what we always heard a Democrat was, union guy. And
at the time,
and he never talked about it when he would bring me to the polls to go vote in Munster, but I never went in with him, and he never told me who he voted for, because he said it was none of your business. Your vote is the one and only last place of privacy, the last place where you can pick whoever you want and nobody can ask you, and you don't have to tell anyone. He would never let any candidate put a yard sign in his yard. He said, unless you're paying me for advertising, nobody needs to know who I support. When President Obama was running the first time, that's when I was like, well, you're voting for him. He's like, why would I vote for him? I'm like, because you're a Democrat. He's like, what makes you think that? I'm like, because you worked at the mill, and I don't know. He's like, no. And it's like that argument that's going around now, that they don't look like a blank. They don't look like a Democrat. They don't look like a Republican. What is that even supposed to mean?
Right.
You can't be a Republican if you have facial piercings. You can't be a Republican if you have tattoos or green hair. Why not? That's just your form of expression.
Yeah.
It doesn't change who you are. My hair looks brown. It's got some purple in it. It's probably going to be green here in a few months. But I can promise you that when green gets put in my hair, my brain isn't going to go, do. I'm a Democrat now. Let me vote crazy ways. It's not going to.
Oh man, they say there's some crazy stuff in that hair dye. You know, you got to watch and make sure you get the quality stuff and not the off the shelf at Walmart stuff.
You know who does my hair? It's always quality. But I've had purple hair since 6th grade, on and off. It doesn't change who you are. I have seen some people that I swore were as liberal as you can get, and they were the most conservative people. I have an aunt and an uncle who, if you looked at them, you would believe that they were probably the most conservative people on the planet. And they are the most not conservative people on the planet. But looking at them, you would think that they would be like precinct people. And they are for the Democrats. So looking at someone and saying, you don't look like a blank, so you're not a blank, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, there are stereotypes for everything. And I will say, there's hair color is one thing, but when you start getting into like septum, there's some kind of weird correlation, I'm telling you, between a septum piercing and crazy behavior. I'm not going to say political, but crazy behavior.
I had my nose pierced. I've had my nose pierced twice in my life, and just the little piercing, whatever, that hurt so bad. I have tattoos, and I'm telling you, no, that hurt so bad. I can't imagine going through this piece of car. I can't.
Yeah, I can't either. I don't get it.
But don't look at someone and go, I don't like the way they look, so they must be a this. Just don't judge people by their appearance. Judge them by the content of their character.
Right. And that's really kind of the entire theory behind the foundation of the Republican Party. A lot of people don't understand that, but it's true. People should be judged on merit, not the color of their skin or the way they talk or the things that, they might wear, but beliefs and what do you bring to the table. For you, obviously, you bring many years of experience with budgets and caring for the less fortunate. You have a history of being less fortunate at short periods in your life. Part of it, we were together. I mean, we were broke. I mean, broke as a joke. There was a period where we had both ended up losing our jobs within a very short amount of time of each other. And it was crazy. A lot of people were going through the same thing. They were. It was awful. It wasn't anything that we did. It was just the way it was. And we had to learn to hustle.
And we both had and have amazing families who provided emotional, financial, mental support, sounding boards, all of that, and our faith got us through. And you learn how to make things stretch, like when you make a giant cake that doesn't get eaten, and so that turns into your breakfast and your lunch and your dinner for a week.
We've talked about the pirate ship cake before.
No.
The water looks so good in the pictures.
It looks great in the photos, but no. And I think that's also important too, because where other people are coming from. Because if you've never struggled, and that can still be applied. Like, some people's struggle is different than you. So if you've never had that struggle, you don't understand. But if you've struggled, you understand. You can relate. And you can maybe say, have you thought of this? Or have you thought of that? But they didn't. And they go, oh, let me think of that. And it helps.
Right.
But I believe up and down our full ballot for the Republican primary, we have people who really care and really want to make some changes. And it's just a matter of, do the changes you see align with their changes or the other person's changes? That's
exactly. That's really what it comes down to.
There are 6 people running for a 3-person board. So that tells you that this is an important race, because if it wasn't an important position, people wouldn't be running for it.
Right.
So you just have to look at the people and say, this is what's important to me. This is what matters. I agree with them. I think they have the best plan. I'm voting for Bob over Dave.
Right.
I'm voting for Liz over everybody.
So what it comes down to, just so everyone's aware, this particular race, like she said, has 6 people, and there's only 3 spots, and that's just for the general. This isn't picking the board. This is picking the Republican candidates that are going to the general
to go on.
But you don't have to pick all 3.
You don't have to pick all 3.
If you don't want.
You can pick 1, 2, 3. And this is who goes to the general. The Democrats have 1 person slated on their ballot. So if you're pulling a Democrat ballot, you have 1 person.
For that position.
Pulling a Republican ballot, you got to pick up to 3.
Right.
And whoever whoever comes out on the 5th, which is like 2 weeks from now, whichever 3 make it through, they have my support, and I will be helping to make sure that they go through to the very end. I think that my skills and my education and my experience make me an ideal board member that I would love to have your vote for and go through to the general and win that in November and bring all of that to the board to help Lisa, to help Center Township, which is essentially the city of LaPorte, and to see us grow and prosper and have that safety net there for when whoever it is of us hits a hard time, whether it's a senior, whether it is the homeless, mental health is another issue, whatever. We could go on for hours with what the issues are, but I want to be there to help and support.
But ultimately, for all the problems that LaPorte has, for all the issues that we may agree or disagree on, it's an incredible, rich, vibrant city that has so much potential. And that's why we're here. So we're at our time. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Liz, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. I love when candidates take the time to just tell us who they are and give an opportunity. So I appreciate you taking the time. And if you want to learn more about Liz, you can look her up on Facebook and message her directly. Would it be better to look you up like individually yourself?
Yeah,
or do you have like a campaign
that's the fastest way. If you do want to email me and ask a question, my email address is ebergeron320@gmail.com. If you, we're so close to election day that the opportunities to meet, I don't see any more happening unless you see me. I'm always at the grocery store. I've been at the grocery store. I have a 20-year-old and a 24-year-old. I think I've been at the grocery store most of my life since they were like 5. So if you see me out, if you see me at the grocery store, if you see me at this stoplight and my music's on and I'm jamming, just like ignore that. But if you see me out or you see me anywhere, don't be afraid to be like, hey, Liz, I have a question. Hey, Liz, I want to talk to you. Hey, Liz, you're awesome. Whatever it is, don't be afraid. If you see me out there, I'm running to work for you. So you're my boss. So
there you go.
If you see me, stop me.
All right. Thank you very much. And obviously, I'm going to see you very soon.
Right. I'm going to come upstairs. Yeah.
Right. Everybody else, make sure you look her up on Facebook. Get to know what she's all about.
And vote.
Vote. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Liz Bergeron. If you guys have been watching the show, you know who she is. If you haven't, it's my wife, the greatest wife in the world. I don't care what anybody says. She has been absolutely incredible. She's an amazing mother, fantastic wife, and she is absolutely devoted to the less fortunate. And I think that's what really sets her apart. She's got a heck of a lot. I could go on for hours, but ultimately, there you go. Meet the candidate. I got some interesting stuff coming up. I promise. I'm working. It's just behind the scenes right now. I'm trying to set up the office. We did a little changes because I felt kind of up against the area there. So there's some changes coming, but we're gonna get there.
Yay.
Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you, God bless Indiana, and God bless the United States of America. We'll see you again real soon. Good night.
Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.